All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Zul'jin Distillery Invitational. Tonight, we're going to see a match between Clouded Minds and Do It Right. I believe that's called the Fallen Angel Division or something like that from Zul'jin, from what they put together. But it's the lower of the two brackets anyways. Tonight, I am joined with my co-caster here, Arya, joining me from Regen Phoenix as well, part of Regen as a whole for a good long time. Welcome, and glad that you could join us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Aero. I'm excited to
be
on the other side.
Right, exactly. Now you get to talk all kinds of things about what the teams are doing out there instead of having them said about your team.
Nice not to be worried about getting ganked myself.
True, we're going to be able to see all of that action. So, just real quick here, I want to pop up the standings and show you guys the maps as we are going to get started here. Right now, standings here, so not a ton of games have been played, but right now, Clouded Mind sitting at, well, they're tied with Zul'jin Distillery and Church of Murky, really, for second place. Do It Right, sitting right behind them, tied with 2 calculated to throw, technically at 5th place. So, you know, a win here puts Clouded Minds ahead at first place, or Do It Right can even vault them up to first place, tied with Probius.
If I remember correctly, Clouded Minds was the Div D champion in NGS last season?
They were. They actually defeated Probius in a 5-game finals, so it was quite exciting.
Maybe they'll be looking to move up and face some harder competition here.
Indeed. So, just a quick look at the maps here. So we had the bans on Dragonshire and Cursed Hollow that came out from Clouded Minds. Braxis and Volskaya for Do It Right. And our first pick is going to be Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, so far looking like fairly standard bans. Kel'Thas, excellent for his wave clear here. Vala is very strong right now. The Stukov, do you know if that's a targeted ban or not?
I don't know, but this is one of those maps where, you know, Stukov can get a pretty decent amount of value with the kind of controlled areas that they can come into control points to deal with the minions. Also, you know, we see a lot of heroes like ETC, the Stukov helps with that, and so it doesn't surprise me to see that.
Yep. I'm also really pleased with Johanna ban. I think she's excellent on this map. The point control and her overall blinds right now against the meta are very strong.
So picking up the Orphea and Rhaegar. So we haven't seen, surprisingly, we haven't seen that much of Kira in the competitive play since she came out. She started off as kind of a rock star and then fell out of grace once they nerfed her down a little bit, which I find to be a little bit surprising. I think she's really enjoyable and valuable. And can punish an enemy team pretty well, but she can also get punished pretty easily too, I think.
I feel like she's become one of those win more heroes. If you're a little bit ahead, you can really just run everybody over, but once you get behind, she's not quite as good.
Yeah, and that's completely fair. Sure.
We got the Ariel here. I'm very happy to see 2 of my favorite healers. Rhaegar is just the best, in my opinion. But Ariel is in a great spot right now. She got the buffs that she needed, and she can be top damage as well, played right. And
I wish I knew the talents and things required to make that happen, because certainly not in my hands. But the Azmodan, I think, is a bit of a targeted ban. However, the Azmodan player, Venus, is not in the game tonight.
That might have been an overlook on their part, but still, he can be pretty good on this map. The offlane push that he can give during an objective, his overall clear on the shrines is not that bad. And I'm pretty sure if you build Laser, his 1v1 against Kira is very strong.
Fair enough. Yep. Well, maybe, because as soon as he pops Laser, she could just use her revolving sweep and then he gets no damage.
Very true.
So we've got the Arthas as a front line here, which I think that's going to be a little bit of an interesting combination here. We could see either the Mal'Ganis or Arthas in the off lane here. And I don't know. Like, I'm not 100% sure where we're going with that. I think we could see, I don't know, stuns coming out from Mal'Ganis. You've got the roots. I mean, it's a lot of potential CCs.
There's a lot of slow on that team. You got the Rhaegar totems. You got the stun from Kira. But
none of them
I
get
also
value
like
out
the
of
other
that.
side's draft too. If ETC lands a good mosh and Malthael pops off on 3 frontline targets, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, and not to mention, we didn't get around to talking about the fact that they've got Orphea as well. You know, she, not the greatest wave clear for the shrines, but she does have, you know, some. But getting a mosh in there, and all of a sudden you've got Eternal Feast. And it's funny to me that Eternal Feast has become, like, kind of the go-to ultimate. When she first came out, it was complete and utter trash. Nobody would take it, because you could never land any significant amount of damage from it.
Yeah, if she has the right setup, it's good now. It's very good. So it'll be nice to see if they can combo those.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's go ahead and introduce our teams. We've got Clouded Minds on the left and Do It Right on the right. Which one do you want to introduce?
You know, I have to go with our right-sided red team here, my favorite color. We've got Ronan on ETC, Iceman on Raynor, Hannibal on Malthael, and Lady Ronan on Ariel, as well as Orphea, who I lost track of.
Because she's still in the base. That's
Got
Tantrum.
Tantrum, you're a little late there, my friend.
All right, and for the Clouded Minds, the NGS Division D Grand Champions, we've got Tiger on Mal'Ganis, Zednam on Arthas, Double Eldam on Kira, Star Knight on Rhaegar, and Swing playing the Jaina.
So Malthael is doing the right thing, not showing in top right now.
Yeah, and that really gives his team, I guess if they don't push too hard anyways, a bit of an advantage here. They're going to get the XP. And there's no real significant value for them at level 1 for Do It Right.
No. Jaina got some damage there for her quest, but they missed a whole wave top lane there from Clouded Minds.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of quest talents here on the side of Clouded Minds as well. Obviously, Jaina's Fingers of Frost for her globes. That is right. Yeah, okay. But her Frostbite baseline, we've got the Arthas root and Kira's wounds. So, I mean, all the value of an early team fight goes over to Clouded Minds here.
And Ariel, it has started with Searing Light, which could build towards her damage potential. And we got Progrock out of ETC.
We also have Exterminator from Raynor, so gonna help with the Shrine clear a little bit. And is it on point? Is that yeah, on point for the Orphea. So additional damage at the tip of her. Oh, what is the name of that ability? I haven't played Orphea in a while. Shadow Walls. Yeah, that thing where she dances around.
Yeah, we would have to ask Hannah there.
Right, exactly.
We got Pale Horse on Malthael, so there's a really strong potential for some double soak there. Gives them a lot of opportunity to keep catching those waves.
For sure. So, and that could lend itself to the 4-man that Do It Right has kind of created here, making use of like the Raynor and Orphea to push harder in that single lane. The first shrine is going to be in the bot lane here. It's going to be a Frozen Punisher. So that's not one that's ideal to just let go. If it was a Mortar or Arcane Punisher, you could potentially see them, you know, give it up, go top lane, and just shove as hard as they could. But I don't think we're going to see that.
Working hard on their hard camp there. He should be able to finish it, but he's going to have to back right before the shrine activates.
Oh, so close with that 250 health.
You know, he took the healing totem. It would have been a lot closer if he hadn't.
Indeed. So we did see the kill there, or we did not see the kill there, unfortunately, as we were paying attention to Rhaegar things. Giving Do It Right the first kill of the game onto the Arthas there.
Yep, Malthael's going to have to go top and deal with that camp.
And that's going to give a 4v4 here on the Shrine. Currently, Do It Right is a little bit ahead, about halfway completed, and they're going to pull back because they know that Zednam is coming back on the Arthas, making this now an uneven fight. But Malthael is coming back, and he'll be here about the time they get even.
Jaina's starting to run a little bit low on her mana on Clouded Mines here.
Oh, but what a power slide in. Zednam in complete danger there. Swing is going to get out on Jaina. Maybe she goes back in, though. But they get that kill onto the Arthas with Malthael coming into play here.
Kudos to Lady Ronin on the whip there, showing that stun off on Ariel. Malthael's going to go right to soaking. It doesn't look like they're going to push with that Punisher, though.
I find that to be really interesting. This, again, I mentioned it earlier, this is a frozen Punisher, and they can get so much value out of this, and they are coming back down now.
Yep, they're rotating back down. Got a decently healthy Punisher. They should be able to get that front wall, no problem.
Yeah, that kill onto Rhaegar was absolute just gold. ETC using the power slide, follow-up from the Punisher, getting the assist there. And even now the Arthas getting rooted by the Punisher, follow-up with the power slide. So, you know, we mentioned earlier about how much CC Clouded Mines has. Do It Right has enough.
Yeah, they're doing a good job with the CC that they have. Also, Malthael bullying Kira right now. So we got a full level lead on the side of Do It Right. I'd expect them to go ahead and get some more camps and sit and wait for level 10.
And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Pulling back on this aggressive camp anyways. We can see most of the... I think they could see all of them even because of their positioning in the lanes.
Call. The pullback, they acknowledged that their DPS wasn't with them and that ETC and Ariel together weren't going to be able to do that camp very quickly.
Now this is kind of interesting because Orphea just went back and they saw Malthael cut across toward that camp. So I'm surprised that there was no engagement whatsoever there. But it was still pretty strong from Do It Right.
It was. I would have expected a Jaina Blizzard perhaps just to get a little bit more damage on her quest, but their Kira was also very top lane and soaking up there, so they acknowledged they were short and said, you know what, they're almost 10, we'll give them this camp and it becomes XP for us.
Yeah, and level 10 is now available here for Do It Right, and as expected, the Raynor going into the Hyperion, getting that extra siege potential to go along with the Punishers as they win these fighs.
Crystal Aegis coming out of Ariel, which I believe is at about a 90% choice rate right now in Storm League. Not sure what you'd see in Quick Match. But her Resurrect just isn't where it needs to be for strong competitive play, in my opinion.
Yeah, and not only that, but against a team with this much CC, it would just be free XP, right?
It would, yeah. Looks like we're gonna have a push for this camp top. Ooh, Kira's gonna go down. Malthael gets the stack.
I don't know if Ariel got the stack on that because it looked really close to hitting that wall, but she was
she did
not.
Off.
All right, well, Hyperion used, and that kill is gonna allow now Do It Right to get some very significant damage up here in the top lane, probably all the way through the fort here.
Raynor should be able to finish that pretty easily. Yeah, nice ring with the follow-up sleep. That's a great combo. Malthael may go down.
He's got no mana, but Zednam's the one that's super low here.
Is the Mosh coming? Nope, no Mosh.
The revolving sweep helped to secure that kill there onto the Malthael, and that's going to give now Clouded Mines the opportunity to get onto their camp and get some pressure up, I guess counter pressure up in this top lane.
Yeah, that camp will have to deal with the occasional catapult that Do It Right's going to get from getting that fort down.
And it's going to give him a little bit of value up top, but here comes the rest of the team. So Malthael's joining up, Arthas and Jaina coming in as well, 16-2. Mal'Ganis is going to get the sleep, the power slide in. Here comes the revolving sweep, and Mal'Ganis gets the last rites. Mosh Pit only hitting Kira. And there's just not enough to follow up. Even with all 5 of their team, they didn't get hardly any damage there. But the power slide onto Arthas is going to help them to secure that kill.
Yeah. Aegis on Malthael definitely saved his life. I thought he was a gunner for sure. Nice job, Ariel. They got some pressure building up in bottom lane as well.
Yeah, that
2 katas.
That first Punisher allowing them to get that bottom fort, giving them a lot of value here. And this Punisher now going in the mid lane, being a mortar Punisher. I mean, they don't have any defense right now, so they can easily knock down this wall. And it's a very reasonable expectation that they could get this fort, especially with the additional stun from ETC.
Kira fall into that Punisher stun.
And we see there Mal'Ganis trying to clear up in the bot lane to prevent as much of the damage coming out of that catapult lane as possible, and Malthael pushing up in the top doing exactly the opposite. But they do get this mid fort, or the mid keep wall. A little bit of damage onto the keep itself. And again, top lane has catapult pressure, so they're even potentially going to get this tower.
Do it right, making a strong call there, saying we got what we could out of this. Overstaying their welcome could have gone badly. Just gonna get some camps. Kira's trying to soak the top.
And this is looking like a really strong performance out of Do It Right. You know, in NGS they were a Division C team. They were number 7 at the end of season 7, coincidentally.
If you look at your stat screen real quick, Jaina is pulling strong for Clouded Minds, but Ariel beating Kira, Arthas, Mal'Ganis, and Rhaegar right now.
Oh my.
Damage.
We got a bit of a bush gank. Looking for these tanks down here possibly, or looking for the rotation of somebody, and here they go. They're gonna get the ETC power slide in onto Mal'Ganis. And does get the Carrion Swarm just in time.
And that stacked in Malthael.
Oh, and almost a huge root there. Malthael able to get out with just 80 health. And Clouded Minds is looking for this. This is just before 16, so they're trying to get the attack. But 16 now available, so we see talents getting picked up here. Unrelenting strikes. Can they
gonna fall?
I don't know if they get the beefcake.
Oh.
It looks like ETC's gonna fall. He just couldn't quite get away, and then the totem from Rhaegar keeping him from making any further progress. So that is huge. That's the second kill this game now for Clouded Minds. The first was earlier when they also lost one of their own. So that's really helpful, but they're still having to just clean up the mess that Do It Right has created on the map here for them.
Yeah, their lanes are very pushed in. On the positive for them, that gives them the opportunity to soak some XP here before the next shrine. I don't know if it'll be enough to... Yeah, it's not going to be enough to get them 16 before this Punisher, I don't think. Oh, is Mal'Ganis in trouble down there?
It could be. He's able to get away, though, with that sleep. That rush? Something? Night rush? I think it's... Yeah, Night rush. Yay.
Looking at Star Knight's choices here as a healer main, he went the healing totem and slow on his totem. The standard build right now on Rhaegar is to go completely lightning shield, which may have helped them clear up these lanes a little bit faster if he had chosen to do so.
Possibly. I know I've seen a variety of different builds with that, with Rhaegar's. Oftentimes a lightning shield, but also I've seen a variety of totem builds to help with that too. Movement, speed, and all that stuff.
Push middle here. I think that's a great call. Try to get some XP and get a counter fort down.
Yeah, because right now the trickle XP is really against them. They're down basically 60%. Do It Right has a 60% bonus to that trickle XP. And they couldn't really contest this, and even now it's going to be a very difficult circumstance. They have to pull that Punisher away. and we'll see how far Arthas can get it here. ETC looking, but not able to find anybody just yet. And there goes the sleep, but Mal'Ganis is deep in, isn't quite able to get that Carrion Swarm off before ETC gets the stun. And now Punisher landing onto Arthas, the cleanse going out as well as the Ancestral to keep Arthas alive. But the body blocks. And it's looking like this Punisher is going to help them finish the game here right now. Big Ring of Frost.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Rhaegar, unfortunately, is a man to himself.
Yeah, I don't think Rhaegar's going to be able to pull this one off. Five-man defense with just the Ghost Wolf there.
Very well played on Do It Right side. I was happy to see the amount of soak they were able to get in, really proving Pale Horse on Malthael having its benefits, getting them the level lead, and they took good fights and left when they needed to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that looked like a really tough time for Clouded Minds. They're definitely going to have to make some adjustments. And it's really interesting because, you know, they had a lot of CC, they had a lot of slows and all that stuff. And I guess maybe what they were going for was to help with Kira's ultimate, maybe, and to help land rings and just kind of combo that stuff. Because even though Do It Right didn't have as much CC, I mean, they were far more effective with it.
And looking at the damage numbers overall, I have to give my MVP to Lady Ronin on Ariel. 15k damage, showing what Ariel can do right now.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of really good detainment strikes to either help to set up a kill or to lock them down. I also do want to point out, and I didn't get a chance to mention this in the middle of the game, but there were some absolutely amazing, what is it called? It's a level 7 talent. Touch of Death from Malthael that all but destroyed an Ancestral. There were a couple of those that he was able to pull off and really just negate the healing on the enemy team there.
Don't think we saw the mosh pit line up with the crushing jaws, unfortunately, for a big wombo out of them, but overall, very nice job from both teams.
Yeah, we didn't. And, you know, the funny thing is we mentioned, of course, at the beginning about the Eternal Feast, which, of course, they didn't take. And that's fine. I have no complaints about that. I think that Crushing Jaws ultimately is the better ultimate. But even the mosh pits, in this case, it worked out well because the mosh pits that we saw were primarily mosh pits that were like a single player, right? We got the one with Kira that didn't ultimately end up in a kill. We got another one with Arthas at the end there, which got cleansed, which he almost got out of. Not quite. He got caught by the end of it again.
You know, and as players and as casters and spectators, we like to see that big fancy mosh. You know, when you get that 5-man mosh, I know as a player that's a real boost. But those single target moshes can be very powerful if they get an important kill at the right time. That could swing the game just as much as that 5-man that necessarily may not get a full team wipe.
Yeah, absolutely. Because even if you get a kill or 2 kills out of it, that still puts them on the back foot. It means that they have to go deal with soaking in other lanes that they're behind, or maybe they go get a camp instead of, and now they miss out on an objective. Did you say you can't hear?
Yeah, I didn't hear you there for a full 30 seconds.
Oh, well, that's awkward. It could have just been Discord. Sometimes that happens. So, but hopefully it's all set now. And
so
let's get you in
what
here.
What map bans did we have, Aero?
So our bans were, let me pull up the page here. Our bans were on Dragonshire and Cursed Hollow from Clouded Minds, Brax's Holdout, and Volskaya Foundry from Do It Right.
Alrighty, and looks like we're going to Alterac Valley. So this was this a choice of Clouded Minds or Do It Right?
Based on the first pick listed there, it looks like it was the pick of Clouded Minds.
So a little bit different map here as far as the fighting style. We do still have the 3 lanes, so the potential for a double soak could come out, but you don't see it as frequently on this map, I don't feel like.
It's a little bit harder with the mud pits slowing down rotations, and getting stuck in those, you know, from an enemy team coming in can just make a terrible time for you.
Yeah, and there's not really, of the 3, there's not 2 that are much closer together than the other one. They're fairly spaced out, the lanes. When you're trying to double soak, that can make a difference.
For sure, and kind of like the actual... Oh, is it... We get first pick. So, okay, so actually that's incorrect. It was the other way around. Looks like Contract Pass was selected by Do It Right. So there we go. Anyways, what I was going to say is, you know, much like Alterac Valley, in that, you know, there's the one main road down the center of the map, but then you also have a couple of, like, alternate routes around by the bunker or the, you know, the I guess they're not captains, the first officer type people.
Many, many, many hours of my life spent in that battleground.
Yes, indeed. Clearly you were an Alliance player because Horde avoided that.
Of course.
All right, so last game we saw bans on Vala, Johanna, Kel'Thuzad from Clouded Minds, Kael'thas, Stukov, and Azmodan on the side of Do It Right. So it'd be interesting to see if they make any adjustments here. I wouldn't be surprised to see an ETC ban. Even without the Mosh, ETC was really strong.
Yeah, he played that very well. ETC is very disruptive. Standard Kael'thas ban. He's just in a good place right now as a DPS, and you have to change your play style when you're facing him.
I love it when I'm right.
Target ban going out there on the ETC.
And that's, I mean, completely reasonable. And I actually am a little bit surprised to see the Leoric so early, but I don't dislike it. I mean, Leoric is one of those heroes, and this is a map where this really matters. He's one of those heroes that just gets incredibly powerful as the game goes on, and this is a map where you're probably going to make it to 20, right? It's going to take a while to go through. You're going to get that XP, and you're probably going to get to 20, and then Leoric's just going to bone you in one of those narrow passageways with a buried alive, and you lose the game.
Yeah, this map has got, especially around the objective, it's got some great places for a tomb where you'd have nowhere to go, no way to get out of it. So I can agree, and maybe they know something we don't about a Leo player on the side of Do It Right.
Possibly. I mean, I think that you have to have a Leo player in your inventory.
First pick Stukov, making me happy, one of my favorite healers. And we got the Ariel from Lady Ronin again.
Yep, and gonna be Blaze. Now the returning side here, getting all kinds of heroes that were banned out last round with the Stukov, the Johanna, and now the Jaina. And I like the combo of Jaina and Johanna. Being able to use that Condemn, followed up by a Punish to keep them in place long enough for the Jaina to get value out of Blizzard, value out of her Cone of Cold.
Really pick on the Blaze in my opinion, but his stuns can be strong, and both ultimates in the small quarter, much like a Leo, can get a lot of value.
The other thing that we don't know yet is whether that's a main tank Blaze or an off lane Blaze, because I've seen Do It Right change up like what roles they're performing. And specifically, I've seen Ronan come off and play some DPS, so it wouldn't surprise me to see an adjustment on that.
We got the bans on Vala and Varian. Varian, kind of a map ban here in my opinion. Twin Blades on the boss is still very good. And Vala is just a solid overall DPS right now. She's in a good place.
Hey, it's Feldroth in chat. Do you have chat up?
I do not.
Oh, you should do that. You're missing all kinds of good things. I'll have to go back and tell you what they said.
Sometimes I don't want to know.
Oh, well, fair enough. Let's see. So again, we're seeing here Ronan, who was just on ETC, definitely not going tank at this point. At least not selecting the tank. It wouldn't surprise me to see some shuffling, but because Iceman wasn't Orphea last game either. That was Tantrum. So Ronan going to be selecting the Zul'jin.
Zul'jin's a nice battery for the Ariel. It's a different front line. We're assuming Blaze is going to be in the off lane and they'll use Mal'Ganis as their main tank. Possibly.
I don't know. That's because the Blaze stun would allow Zul'jin to stack better. I like Zul'jin here because there's a lot of time where you're attacking or at or near those points away from the lanes, so you're getting that consistent auto attack damage. But I do have to question.
Countered. You know, you're taking the Zul'jin knowingly into the Johanna
and Cassia.
And then the Cassia, so he's gonna have some work to do to make sure that his DPS is impactful at the right moment.
Exactly. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, it's an adjustment on the Zul'jin talents. Maybe he goes a little bit more of the magey version of Zul'jin, going into that cleave as opposed to things like Headhunter.
Alrighty, on the right side we've got Do It Right with Ronan on Zul'jin, Lady Ronan on Ariel, Iceman on Orphea, Tantrum on Blaze, and Hannibal on Mal'Ganis.
All right, and on the left we've got Clouded Minds. Swing going to be playing on Jaina, Star Knight on the Stukov, Zednim on Johanna, Tiger going to be on the Imperius, and Cassie going to be played by Double Eldam. And we
Clouded
see
Minds go ahead and split in early, taking a page from the first game here, probably anticipating that Do It Right was gonna split off again.
Possibly, but they also have the fact that Zul'jin's on the side of Do It Right, and the longer it takes for them to stack Zul'jin, the better it is for Clouded Minds.
Zul'jin did not go Headhunter. Well, you got Bone Slicer.
So that's a big benefit to them, because now, you know, he may at 16 even look to take the armor penalty, or the armor, like, I don't know what the talent is called, but it ignores armor for any auto attacks against a character that has his Grievous Wound on it, or Grievous Throw. And so with Bone Slicer and the additional upgrade talent, he can pierce everybody, and all of those attacks are going to be full damage. It's really strong against Garrosh. Garrosh just melts under that. But it's going to be really strong against Cassia too, because she's just got that straight physical armor.
Getting started on the siege camps on both sides here. Just been trading back and forth in the lanes. Get a little bit more rotation out of Orphea and Mal'Ganis as they catch bottom and mid.
But only the Johanna in the middle there, so probably a little bit of soak's gonna get missed out by Do It Right. I think they may have lost like 1 or 2 minions at the front there. And again, the melee minions at the beginning of the game are worth a little bit more XP than the ranged minions, so missing out on those is, I mean, you feel it.
Yep, they'll feel it a little bit, but mostly even on both sides here. Clouded Minds will have their fours momentarily before Do It Right.
And most of the camps gone here. The one tower shot finishing off the camp on the side of Clouded Minds, as it just barely got in a little bit of damage there.
Imperius is far out, got slept. Is Zul'jin gonna get there in time?
Well, he does make it. We'll see if Yeah.
Looks like he's gonna get out just fine.
Tiger making use of that Celestial Charge to get out of dodge. This is 4v3, and Hannibal just went in with the Fell Claws, but it's going to be able to use the Night Rush to disengage. So far, not really seeing anything. I don't know about the Stukov talent, so you can probably talk to that better than I can. But I'm not seeing anything really crazy here, as Cassia now getting caught by Orphea is just barely able to make it out alive there. Orphea's
Stukov has gone into biotic armor, giving armor to his teammates, perhaps in a response to that Zul'jin choice.
Oh yeah, I think that's for sure, yeah. But not just
Forget
Zul'jin,
it.
I mean, the auto attacks coming out from Orphea can do a lot of damage too. And not to mention, you know, Ariel, especially if she takes that level 7 talent, gets a lot of hope from the auto attacks. So in theory, that should help mitigate some of that too.
Nice sleep coming out of Mal'Ganis there. We got a second camp from Clouded Minds pushing. Oh, that spear.
Yeah. Into the silence, no less. So slowing things down here. Zedam going in with the Condemn. The jet propulsion coming in, but Tiger getting knocked away is very low. Is going to end up falling. Clouded Minds does defend, though. Oh, the Blizzard getting tons of damage. And Lady Ronin in danger here, 200 health. Doesn't have a lot of hope either. And that's going to give Clouded Minds some breathing room as Do It Right's going to head down and pick up this, or clear out this camp. That's going to get at least a little bit of value on this bottom tower.
Gives them a chance to tap, clear the lane. I wouldn't be surprised if they chose to pull their siege camp before they go back again.
And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. And right now, Clouded Minds needs to actually do something. They're right now, you know, Tiger's going to clear up the lane, but with this delay, I mean, they had the opportunity to come in here and work on some time on the camp, but they kind of missed that opportunity with this camp coming in mid lane, especially since there's only 8 seconds left.
Both of them.
So, never mind. Sleep coming in onto Tiger here. Big stun, followed up by the knockback from Detainment Strike. Not able to get the stun out of that one, though. The Silence able to get some damage in onto Blaze and Mal'Ganis. There's a Celestial Charge, and that could be a dead Mal'Ganis. It is. And Blaze is not too far off there either, so this should be the opportunity that Clouded Minds needs, although Jaina's fairly low on health and mana. Only has enough to maybe get 2/3 of her combo off.
Stukov go ahead and using that bio kill switch to getting his team back up before they go in.
Yeah, double
Getting
dam.
Some
Almost
nice push middle.
Almost getting the kill onto the Blaze. Again, almost onto the Orphea as well. They did get the channel, but they didn't pay attention to those 2 minions, and the minions managed to just pull it right back.
Both towers gone in mid lane.
Oh, Tiger's dead, I assume?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, Ronin just throwing those axes.
Tantrum going ahead and healing himself up in that ring of fire.
And Zednam's going to be able to make it away here. Doesn't have a lot of mana, so it's going to have to back. And this should be a camp now. Cavalry going to be going over to Do It Right.
Looks like Clouded Minds is not going to contest. Go ahead and spread out.
So in the mid lane, the camp coming out from Do It Right did manage to get the 2 towers that you mentioned, also the healing camp, or the healing well rather, and about 20% of the fort. So that's a really strong value for them in the mid lane. We're going to see Clouded Minds clearing up the mid lane first, it looks like. And I assume from there they'll head up to the top to deal with the pressure that's coming up there.
Yeah, they're going to have to respond to that top. Unfortunately, it is going to give Do It Right a strong chance of getting this fort down uncontested.
Yeah, and it looks exactly that way, but they still have to get up here and deal with this, because if they don't, I mean, that's still going to be a lot of damage onto the keep wall, and
yeah, still
that's what happened in game 1.
Very healthy minion there.
And now with that clear, we see Do It Right heading up to the mid lane. They're going to clear up the minions here. They do have a minion wave. They could very easily just push in the mid, get that down, but instead they're going to rotate to the bottom lane here. They're almost
Fire
level 10.
that spot. It's going to be able to stay mounted and leave.
And going in for the Celestial Charge, but doesn't matter. Detainment Strike right into the wall. Jet Propulsion coming in. A 5-man sleep, it looked like. Maybe it was Silence, but Celestial Charge onto Hannibal. Does get the heal, but ends up dying anyway. And Eternal Feast this game, getting a ton of value already.
Yeah, Iceman did a great job snap choosing his Internal Feast and dropping it almost immediately.
Oh, Orphea coming back. This should be a dead high schooler.
Gee, the locker did not save her this time. So they're going to get started on bottom boss.
And I like that. That's a good play from them. They just got the kill onto Mal'Ganis, so he's nowhere nearby. They got the kill onto Orphea, so
They do need to be careful. Three of them getting stunned there by the boss, taking some unnecessary damage, but it looks like they're not going to be contested. Do It Right's going immediately top to respond with a boss of their own.
And I would think that if Clouded Minds heads up right now, they might be able to actually do something about that.
Looks like they're going to be a little bit behind on their rotation to get there before to have that chance. They will have to defend that boss, or that could endanger the top keep.
I'm not sure if they didn't know that it was going on, or if they knew and just didn't think that they could get there in time. You know, because half of them went straight back and then dealt with the lane.
Yeah, the lanes were pretty pushed against them, so Do It Right definitely would have had the opportunity to see them coming. In my opinion, that's the right call. Go ahead, give them the boss, we'll clean it. We got a little bit of time before we have to get to the objective.
Yeah, and in the bot lane here, Mal'Ganis trying to stop this boss from getting the bottom fort. I think the minions can get it.
Yeah, it looks like the minions are going to go ahead and win that one, unfortunately, Hannibal. They do, however, still have their tap there if they need it.
Which is valuable because these prison camps are up in the bot lane. Siege camp picked up by Do It Right is pushing in the mid here, and that's going to give them some time to be able to get started on the prison camp. Now the siege camp going out for Clouded Mines, so probably a little bit easier clear on the side of Clouded Mines since it's under the fort. But Tiger in deep by himself, herself, I don't remember, themself, as the Ring of Frost coming out, hitting 3. There goes Zul'jin and the Taz Dingo. So people just dying all over here. 2 and 2 so far. Mal'Ganis looking for more.
Minions retaking the camp there, buying Clouded Mines some more time. And Do It Right's going to have to back off.
So ultimately 2 kills to 2 kills, but 32 seconds almost of the 40 channeled for Do It Right. And as mentioned, the siege camp in the middle is slightly in favor here of the Clouded Mines because Do It Right siege camp was already on the tower, so it took additional damage from minion waves and all that stuff. But Imperius once again going in, got the Wrath of Angiras interrupted. And the Blizzard just getting a little bit of damage. Eternal Feast coming out. Shouldn't get too much value there. But they do get the Wrath this time onto Orphea again. Crystal Age is coming out there, but Orphea had double-digit health. 12 health, I think, at the time, and just not much for that. Ronan's
no testing go on Ronan.
No. It looked really good. Hannibal had a really strong sleep there that nearly protected Ronan, but not quite enough. But check out what happened in mid lane while all that was going on. Fort goes down.
Clouded Mines gets their second fort of the game. Do It Right's gonna get their siege camp out here.
So Zul'jin's back on the map. 20 seconds. I don't think there's enough time for them to like have a 5-man contest here. I don't think there's enough time for them to be able to stop it, but they're gonna give it a shot.
They would have to touch that right away. It's
Oh my goodness, the conversion onto Cassia, nearly killing Cassia there, but it's going to be the backline that's paying for it. Zul'jin and Orphea already down. Ariel going to go down in a moment here. And that's kind of where I was going with that is that, you know, they had under 10 seconds to try to basically kill and force Clouded Minds off of the control point. They didn't have enough time to make that happen and stop it, right? And to stop the channel. And it put Mal'Ganis in an absolutely terrible place, being so far forward. He got a huge conversion on Cassia. I think it was about 95%, but just not able to make it when the backline gets destroyed like that.
Yeah, they needed 10 more seconds. Oh, but first keep of the game.
That's a huge play. They ended up sacrificing Imperius for it, though, missing the Wrath of Angiris, not being able to pull back.
I think that might have been a good sacrifice, though.
Maybe. I don't think it was necessary. I think that Imperius was a little bit far forward, you know, and probably could have been a little bit safer and made it out. But you know what? They got the keep out of it. They've been able to rotate up and get this top fort. So, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. Imperius is going to be back up before anything can happen.
Yep, bottom boss is coming up right away, as well as top boss. Bot giving a lot more value right now for Clouded Minds.
And this is an interesting play. The boss by itself doesn't end the game. It can't. It will die to the core, and the core will heal up. So I guess they're probably going to look at taking the fight up on the top boss now. Presumably, right? They've got a 16 advantage.
With the 16, yep. I'd be making a beeline right up there. Looks like that's what they're going to do. Clear mid on the way.
And it should be free.
Do it right's just gonna give it. Say, okay, we need 16s. Let's go ahead and soak.
Yeah, and they're really focusing on the boss. And this is, so when they come back and check this later, guys, you could have completely ignored this boss. Get the XP, ignore the boss, you know, get your 16s. Because right now there are 2 lanes of soak that they're missing out on, knowing full well that this boss is going in the top lane. And, like,
yeah, you got 2 keeps of armor still on the boss.
Yeah.
This is the one boss, the one keep boss in the game that'll heal itself up.
They are baiting this so hard. So Clouded Minds not going to push with it because the prison camps are coming up, and the cavalry is going to provide a significantly greater amount of value. Not only that, but 16s just came online here. Let's show those talents. Yeah, somebody just asked for it too. Perfect timing. You know, so Do It Right has to defend this boss at this point, because otherwise they'll lose their top keep. And if you're Clouded Minds, you don't want to, even with the boss is kind of a limp noodle. So, I mean, it's only going to get you so much value. The siege camp in the mid lane is going to get potentially more value than the boss would. So,
it is, but
we'll see.
Do It Right looking to find their fight and stop this timer.
And the boss, or the core, getting some pressure, but again, it's just one lane, so it's not worried about that. Let's put those talents away here. And this is where the game is going to get really interesting, because Clouded Minds has all the advantage right now. If they can get a good pick, then they could lead. This could lead to game. And there's a Ring of Frost hitting a couple, but Blaze popping the Unstoppable. Imperius is going to go down. Mal'Ganis, Jaina going down. Eternal Feast coming out, and Zul'jin procking off. But it's going to be another kill onto Stukov. Only Johanna left in there. Cassia did make it out, so the cavalry was picked up. This mid keep is going to go down thanks to that camp. And I think that was a great call from Clouded Minds to just stay in there as long as they possibly could, secure the objective, because they just got a second keep out of it. They're not going to get a third keep, but Do It Right has to deal with these, because 2 cavalry will end the boss.
Yeah, this is constant lane pressure from them now.
And 2 lanes of pressure can lead to a dead core. So now it's kind of equalized with, you know, every other map where, you know, one lane of pressure is of concern. Well, now you're in that position where you have to be paying attention to both. But that one will, bots cleared up. Mid will get cleared up by the core here, so now they can finish up the top as well and save their top keep. So
Mine's just waiting for the objective to be over. They're gonna pull their siege camp right away.
Cloud of Mines is looking really strong here.
20, they would need to pick a fight, otherwise their lanes are pushed forward pretty far just to be able to passive soak.
And it looks like boss is up in a minute, so I guess they're kind of just looking for maybe an opportunity to, you know, grab somebody, but there's no reason for Do It Right to come out of their base right now. No camps on the map to be taken, no bosses to worry about. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see Cloud of Mines hang out here for 45 more seconds until this bottom boss comes up, because there's nowhere for them to be.
Yeah, that's time to go grab a drink and just wait it out. Looks like they're gonna go clear middle though from that siege camp. Be a little bit of XP.
And that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Is on track for their 20s first by seconds. Looking at the stats, we've got some top damage out of Orphea and Zul'jin, followed by Jaina.
So they're about equal. Now the trickle XP is heavily in favor of Cloud of Mines, right? They've got 5 down to the 1, so they're getting 80% more at this point in trickle XP. But that's not going to offset minion XP. So
it's not. I feel like Do It Right's got to take this fight on the boss.
And that's exactly what Cloud of Mines was thinking too. And they missed the quick kill onto the Blaze here, popping the Pyromania to stay alive. But there goes Wrath of Angiris here. Can Blaze get stunned enough? Aegis used.
Aegis buying him a second, but not quite enough.
And level 20 is available now for both teams here. Zednam has not selected his level 20, so expect to see that coming up soon here. But check it out. Just falling all over the place on the side of Do It Right. And with only Oriel left alive, I expect to see some healing going on to Johanna, and they just go win the game now. Like at this point,
no reason to waste your time on the objective and give them a chance to come back.
Yeah, Johanna pops
your chance to finish.
Pops blinded by the light. I don't even think any of the other level 20s matter.
Cloud of Mines doing a great job showing patience.
Yeah, they really set that up too. That bottom boss, like you said, you know, Do It Right really needed to get in there onto the boss in order to have a chance, and Cloud of Mines knew that. They said, yeah, come on into the web. And they missed it. They missed the trap, is the unfortunate thing. But they ended up being able to secure the kill onto the Blaze shortly thereafter. The Stukov arm as well, knocking away, I believe, Mal'Ganis, maybe, to help to secure the kill onto Blaze. So a very different setup, a very different team than we had coming out from game number 1, which was a, 2 kills to 13. This one, Cloud of Mines really showing that they're at the top of their game.
Yeah, showing off why they were Div D champs. Very well played. So we've got 1-1, Cloud of Mines and Do It Right. Means we get a third game.
Indeed. So based on that, what do you think map-wise that we might see?
So I am guessing that we're going to see Towers of Doom.
I could see that. I could see Towers of Doom.
They seem to like these rotation maps. Spider Queen is much smaller. Neither one of the teams chose a small map. So Towers has got my bet.
The only other option was Battlefield. Which, some of the heroes that they've picked, like the Rainer, get significant value on Battlefield. some of the heroes they banned, like the Vala, also get significant value on battlefield. So I think you're right. It's probably going to be Towers of Doom.
If it is Towers of Doom, I would, as Clouded Minds, I would definitely be thinking about getting rid of the Malthael for the potential for double soak there. PoE would be a nice change as far as a different style of map that we could see from these teams.
For sure. And that was so that was an interesting, draft as we saw that kind of develop. We saw the Eternal Feast, but there wasn't a lot of potential to really keep people in the feast. It was really just a couple of ticks with maybe a sleep or maybe a blaze jet propulsion. So I feel like that kind of went backwards. I feel like the Eternal Feast would have been better on the Mosh with the Crushing Jaws being better for the Mal'Ganis sleep and jet propulsion. But we also saw 2 different people on the Orphea, so that could be part of the difference there as well.
I was personally surprised to see the combustion come out of Blaze. I thought for sure with the ring choice from Swing on Jaina that we were going to have a bunker.
I could have seen that as well, yeah. So every map that we decided to call out was exactly wrong. So we are going to Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Okay, well, much smaller map here. There are some teams that still double soak, but they do that as the 4-man double soak, not as a solo.
Yeah.
Are we expecting the Jaina to come out of Clouded Minds again? That seems like a comfort pick for them. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Johanna and the Kael'thas bans also come through.
Agreed. We could see a Jaina ban. I don't feel like Jaina was the biggest problem though for Do It Right there. I mean, I think a big problem for them was the blinds. I think that certainly had a contributing factor for what they were dealing with. Imperius, I think, was a huge problem for them throughout most of that game. And I think the Johanna, so like you said, the Johanna ban, I think, is likely to come out. And I still think ETC gets banned. I mean, I think that he was strong enough for them in game 1 that on a map like this with the short rotations in between the lanes that he'll still... I mean, that's even more valuable. But we'll see. I don't think we'll see an Asmo ban. I think maybe they heard me in game 1 when I said, yeah, but their Asmo player's not here. That would be Weenus.
Shout out to Weenus. Asmo could be really good on Tomb, so maybe we'll see it come out of the other side. Properly stacked, he can be a monster here.
Can be. All right, here we go into the draft. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 3 between Clouded Minds and Do It Right of the Zul'jin Distillery Invitational.
Immediate Stukov ban. We saw it banned in the first game, played in the second game, and banned in the third game. So Do It Right must have felt that it was worth the first ban here.
And I mean, I don't blame him. There were some really solid plays. The Stukov getting value out of the silence, getting value out of the stiff arm. Like all of that was pretty solid. Sticking with the Garrosh ban.
On the smaller map, being a lot closer to those gates, getting thrown over can be a lot easier here. So I'm comfortable with the Garrosh ban. We see the Leo ban again. I'm gonna have to check all these players afterwards because I'm wondering if we've got a strong Leo person on the side to Do It Right.
Could be. But there's the first pick being the Johanna.
And she's great here. Overall solid tank, and it also makes you think twice about what you draft on the other side as far as your auto attackers.
maybe less likely to see a Valla. And there's the Azmodan. So Tiger's switching off from the solo lane into the Azmodan here.
Thanks, Tiger.
And you know what? And now Do It Right later is gonna be like, thanks, Aero. You said that they weren't here.
Oh, we get our first game with Valla on this round. Standard multi-shot build would be my expectation for the wave clear here. And Jaina shown up again, but on the side of Do It Right this time, so she will have been played 3 for 3 this set.
So do you think that, I mean, this is going to be another Oriole pick, right?
It seems like a comfort for Lady Ronin. Well, she won't get to play it this game. If she had, Jaina and Valla are both solid battery choices, and so I'm interested to see what they'll do differently in the way of heals.
So there's no Stukov, there's no Ariel, neither team has their healer picked yet. We see a little bit more from Do It Right. What would you look at for Do It Right? I have an idea, but I want to hear your idea.
So I would be debating right now with the Ana or perhaps the Anduin. Anduin Johanna being a strong combo right now with the stun. But Ana is still just in a solid place, and with the nano on Jaina could be very, very disruptive, as well as the sleep darts. My guess is that we're going to see a Rhaegar out of Clouded Mines. Nope, Anduin. Anduin able to do a strong amount of HPS, not so great on the wave clear, unfortunately. And we get a Morales. Stem drone on Valla, very, very strong.
Huh. Not what I was expecting.
And we got the Malthael again out of Hannibal, so let's be very comfortable for that player. Last pick here, we need my guess would be a AA coming out of Clouded Mines. We've seen a Cassia from them.
Cassia was banned.
Yep. So Zul'jin maybe? No, Falstad.
Okay.
Alright, little not often seen on Tomb of the Spider Queen quite as much. You can't get as much value out of his global presence. But perhaps he's going to be in the solo lane against Malthael, which would be a safer soaker potentially for them.
Could be. I think I think it's likely we see a mage stat here, though, helping to allow Azmodan to stack earlier in the game. Because I don't think Imperius quite has the same amount of wave clear that Falstad can bring.
Imperius, talented right though, I believe has pretty strong wave clear, but he would be giving up a lot of his tank abilities to do so.
Yeah, and I think it depends on what level. Like his cleave at level 7 is probably the best thing for it, but if you're not stacking Azmodan at level 1, then you're already behind.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome to our third and final game. On the red side, on the right, we have Do It Right with Iceman on Valla, Lady Ronin on Lieutenant Morales, Tantrum on Jaina, Ronin on Johanna, and Hannibal on Malthael.
And on the left, Clouded Mines, currently tied 1-1. We've got Swing on Falstad, Zednam on Blaze, Double Eldam on the Imperius, Stardite on Anduin, and Tiger on Azmodan. And I gotta say that synergy between the skin and the iPad on Azmodan looks pretty cool.
Oh, yes. Very nice looking. Kudos, Tiger.
But you know what? Tantrum on that, the Jaina with the heart, pretty solid too. There's got some good skinergy going on here.
A little bit different play from both teams to start with here. Not the immediate split, but now we see Do It Right going off and starting their soak game.
Yeah, and right now here, Hannibal pushing a little bit farther into double L dam. And that'll probably even out as they gain some levels here. It'll probably be a little bit closer to similar.
We got the Pyromania Unstoppable with regen globes from Blaze again. Falstad going into Bribe.
Okay.
Different choice here. We could maybe see him trying to bribe enemies' camps.
Yeah, and you know, the mage stat idea was you know, it was a bold strategy. Oh, and look, what did Anduin take? A bold strategy. But anyways, you know, going into that bribe build for Falstad on a map that's small like this, I can see that, because he's going to be able to clear up the minions very quickly between him and Azmodan. So they should be able to get a lot of stacks out of that for that lightning
Hannibal
rod.
doing a good job there, keeping Imperius and Anduin interested in lane and letting Vala get that camp out.
Yeah, that's a nice early camp here. Just before the 2-minute mark, getting them a little bit of a boost in the XP, and they'll get a little bit of a damage onto this wall as well. Gonna need that rotation from Falstad to help.
Of note, Jaina did not go into regen globes for her mana reduction. She went into Frostbolt here.
So getting that extra reach to stay as far back as possible, but Vala getting that kill onto Falstad, I thought for sure Falstad was safe. But not from that last attack from Mecha Vala.
Looks like we are going to get the multi-shot build from Vala here, at least in her level 4. And
Yeah,
this front wall and bot is going to be gone.
The other thing that we... Oh, no. Oh, good night, Imperius. Black Harvest for the Malthael as well. So I don't recall if that's what Malthael took in game 1. But the Black Harvest, I think, is most often used with Tormented Souls.
I do believe you are right, and he did not take that in game 1. We see Jaina going into her Arcane Intellect at 4 for the mana regen, compensating for her level 1 choice.
But that means she won't be able to get the Pierce on Frostbolt now. So, you know, that's a bit of a change. And there's some beefy players on the side of Clouded Mines here. I mean, Blaze.
Do It Right's got enough to turn right away. Clouded Mines is not far off. Do It Right's going to get the first turn of the game.
Let's
They're
take a look.
also
So
close to level 7.
So Blaze has the bulk of the gems here. With sitting at 28, Anduin has 13. So, you know, if you're Do It Right here, you've got the level advantage. You now have your Web Weavers coming out. This is the opportunity to look for getting that kill onto Blaze and really allowing you to snowball the game.
Yeah, as the front line there, having the vast majority of the gems for your team can change how you play. You don't want to die and lose those gems. Looks like Do It Right is going to go ahead and have Malthael double soak. He caught mid and is also bottom, pushing Imperius in pretty hard.
Yeah, Imperius already at half there, and having to dodge the wave, just barely missed from the spider.
Yeah, that wave would have killed him. Unfortunately, Falstad goes down for Clouded Mines up top.
And Azmodan as well. Now, the gems were protected on Anduin and Blaze, but that's going to give Do It Right the Oh, I missed that kill. Darn it. I've missed all the kills this game. Well, 2 of the kills. But that's going to give Do It Right now the opportunity with this wave coming in to just get this top fort for free. They also got mid and bot. That's
3 forts down.
That's a huge Web Weavers.
Gives Clouded Mines a hard battle here. It's going to be really important that they soak their lanes and take fights when it's good for them. On the flip side, it also gives Azmodan a strong chance at stacking here as the waves are coming in closer to them. Yeah,
and Asmo's already at 123 stacks. So could be very well on pace to have 200 by around level 10, maybe 11. It is the subdue for Johanna, so we saw the last round going into that Blessed Momentum, but this time it's going to be that extra slow, and I love that talent. That is a brutal talent, especially when you've got the Vala and Jaina behind it. But we're going to get the blue Web Weavers, though.
Yeah, do it right, letting Clouded Minds turn. Good call, close to 10. It's basically a free clear for them. Blaze not being able to get out of this, and we got level 10 up for do it right.
Yeah, and that's that was the unfortunate thing there for the Blaze, and you know, you get the turn in, you don't lose your gems, but because this is a free clear, and I've mentioned this in 1 or 2 casts before, it's a tough call to make when you're down. You know, the enemy team is going to be level 10. Do you spend your gems to get Web Weavers out there to have something on the map for them to deal with? Or do you hold on to them and just hope that you don't die? You know, which is the more valuable play? And whichever way you go, if you make the wrong call, it's a big problem.
That's a very tough choice to make. In my opinion, I would have held on to those gems until you could be more impactful with the spiders. Do it right's sitting on enough gems to go ahead and turn again. Clouded Minds grabbing whatever soak they can on the map, trying to get their 10s. We got Blessed Shield, Ring of Frost, Rain of Vengeance. It's a lot of stuns. Last rites. We did not see the Tormented Souls this time, Aero.
Yeah, so fair enough. Again, I mean, I don't play Malthael all that much, so I can't comment too much on the builds here. And this is what I was going to mention here. Do It Right's coming up onto the boss. Level 10's now available for Clouded Minds. And this is what I was going to mention about the turn-in is that if you don't turn in, if you hold on to them, then once the enemy team gets level 10 and they're up by 2 levels at that point, they can go get the boss. And now you're potentially losing, you know, top keep because it's going to be harder to defend. Or you lose mid keep because they had the Bruiser camp already. This, though, is a big challenge. They do have level 10s, so we'll see how far they can make this happen. But a boss Web Weaver turn in it, I'll be surprised if they don't get a keep out of this somewhere.
Ring hits 2 of the members of Clouded Minds and putting out that protect.
Yeah, the Salvation doing work there, but Imperius not quite able to get the Wrath of Angiris to stick, and Last Rites also not quite able to kill Imperius. So no deaths yet. A lot of ultimates used. Blaze has not selected an ultimate, surprisingly enough.
Asmogen just hit his stacks at 200.
Good time for that.
Yep. So at this point, as Clouded Minds, I would be considering go ahead and giving that top to clear mid and bot, knowing that it was probably gone. A nice gust out of Falstead there.
Yeah, and they got a lot of value getting that kill onto Asmodan, and then followed up with a kill onto Blaze, and with the kill onto this top keep here, I mean, there's a lot of value coming in the mid lane as well. I don't think they can end. The death timers are just too short here. But, I mean, if they just keep killing people at the core, then, you know, they don't even need to worry about it.
Do it right. Go ahead, making the call to back out. Getting pretty low on a few of their heroes. Morales not having a full energy bar.
And they don't have enough gems to turn in for another Web Weaver just yet, but there are Bruiser camps. There's a huge wave in the bot lane that, quite frankly, could end this fort's existence.
Yeah, and it looks like Do It Right's gonna go for that last keep.
And they get it. Blaze using the combustion this time, yeah. Big ring, and now an early last rites, but they still managed to get that kill. I think this is now looking like game. They've got 3 lanes of pressure. All the keeps are down. And they are just killing everybody on the way.
Yeah, congratulations to Do It Right.
That was quite a strong performance. 14 kills to none here. coming out from Do It Right. Maybe 15 if Swing goes back in a little bit more. And I think that, you know, they took a very early game. Iceman showing off the level 100 plus Volatant there at the end. That was a strong game coming out from Do It Right, and they played really well in the first game and the third game. You know, the second game, you know, Clouded Minds was just really strong on that Alterac pass, and it was very difficult for them to play into that. But they certainly came back with a vengeance on this game.
Did so. Do It Right won both of their map choices. Do I have that correct?
Nope, other way around. They won their first picks. Right? I'm not crazy on that, right? Yeah. Stukov was... Yeah, because they picked the Johanna first. So, first pick won every game of the series.
Alrighty, so that moves Do It Right up to second in the standings, I believe.
Oh, you know what? Let's take a look. So, that will... Yeah, you know what? Let's actually take a look at how that's going to affect the standings because of the way that the points work. So now... Oh, I got to actually adjust these. Hold on. So, 2, 3... And that's probably fine too. All right, so Clouded Minds getting the point will bump them up and tie them with Probius for the first position. And Do It Right with getting the 2 points will tie them for third place with Zul'jin Distillery and Church of Murky. So on the standings, they'll probably end up looking at number 5, but ultimately it's a tight race at the top there.
Yeah, it really is. Every point is going to matter here.
And this is a little bit different setup because there are 8 teams. And, you know, with NGS, you see a bunch of flex matches. You see extra teams play. There aren't so many teams in this. There are 7 games you're going to play, a maximum potential of 21 points. But, you know, a lot of these teams are very close in their divisions that they've played. Some of them are West, some of them are East. So it's going to be interesting to see how everybody pans out. We've seen some of the other teams just last night. Regen Anomaly and Lubu played. I won't tell you guys how that played out because maybe you haven't watched it. You know, but we've seen some of these teams, you know, play against each other that played against each other in the NGS season, and it's been an interesting time. You know, seeing how they've performed now that, you know, they've had that extra time to practice and get used to each other.
Yeah, a few roster changes here and there have made the games a little bit different. But it's gonna be a hard fight for everybody, literally punching for each one of those points that they can get.
For sure. Well, Ronan said they're gonna go ahead and skip out on the interview tonight as it is a bit late. So so that's it. That's the end of our cast. So how did you feel getting your first opportunity to be on camera in front of the world of Twitch?
Hopefully I didn't stumble over my words too often. Thank you for having me. You're a very gracious host, and congrats to Do It Right, and kudos to Clouded Mind for bringing their A game tonight. Thank you for having us.
For sure. It was absolutely fantastic having you here. I hope that you'll join me again. For everybody out there in Twitch, the rest of the week here, let's just take a quick look at the calendar and see what's going on. Currently, there are 2 games on Sunday. Neither of them yet have casters. Probius versus the Baddest Dudes. That's taking place at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Tickle Me Tassadar versus Regen Phoenix. So definitely want to check out... Exactly. Definitely want to check out those games on Sunday night. But other than that, good luck, everybody, with the rest of your season. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.